Hey, John.
I heard somebody call me.
Yeah, John. This is David. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, great, great. I couldn't make it in person. Well, I'm going to do this again.
Zooming in.
Can never see the crowd.
You haven't seen what? I'm sorry.
I say the way the camera is set up, showing the board, you can't ever see who's out there in the crowd.
Oh, everybody's still filtering in yet. So cameras being turned.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Testing's wrapping up right now, and people are starting to filter in. So
Okay, I'll let you go.
not a problem. All right, everybody, good evening. Everybody that's in the hall with us at the fairgrounds, if you have a seat, we're going to get started. Welcome to everybody that's zooming in with us or on YouTube. We're going to get started here just momentarily. All right, everybody, good evening. We're going to get started. Got a little bit after 7:30. Got a couple things we're going to get started with. First, obviously, it's going to be the Pledge of Allegiance. So if Michael will share the flag electronically and on our screen. Up there and running. Do you share it? It's coming. There we go. All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right. Got a little crowd here. Got a bunch of people on Zoom. Sounds like some people are still connecting. Looks like about 15 or 16 on Zoom and several on YouTube also. All right, we're going to do something different. Is Tim on there yet by chance? I can't see him all. Should be coming on here shortly. Okay. We got a couple things we're going to go through. I gave him a timeline, so I just want to make sure we're still within it. All right. Any guests this evening in the room or new members, even on YouTube or excuse me, on Zoom? Any new members any guests on Zoom by chance?
Yeah, hi, John. Rich Fisher from Lamar's is here. Thank you so much.
Hey, Rich. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Looks like everybody else is members. Okay. All right. Tonight on our test session, we had here in the room 10 people that took the exam, 7 passed. We had 3 techs, 3 generals, and 1 extra. So congratulations if anybody's here. Congratulations. If anybody's going to watch on YouTube later, congratulations. A couple of quick announcements. We're going to do a little something different tonight. Bobbin, just so you know, we're going to do kind of a different lineup tonight. So we're going to go to refreshments fairly quickly. Okay. Christmas party. Our Christmas party is coming up on Saturday, December the 4th. It's going to be at the Knights of Columbus, where it's always been for the past numerous years. Doors open at 6 o'clock. and dinner serves at 7 p.m. It's also going to be our annual awards presentations, Toys for Tots, store prizes, and more. Anna has tickets are available. They are $10 per member and their spouse, and non-members are $25 each. Okay, but those are available now. They're going to be at meetings tonight in October and November. We don't have a meeting in December, so if you want to get your tickets, try to get them at one of those meetings. If you can't make it to the meeting, send me an email and I can send you a link that you can purchase them online, and we'll have your tickets for you when you arrive at the Christmas party. But we won't be able to sell them at the party. We'll just be able to hand you your Christmas ticket. Again, that's December the 4th. It's a Saturday, and we don't have a meeting at the in December. So, and if anybody has any questions, there's more information that's in our newsletter, and more information will be published as we get closer to the Christmas party. So here's the million-dollar question. Everybody knows that HRO was going to be opening a store in Winter Springs. So that the mystery for quite a few weeks has been going on. Where is HRO going to be? The cat was let out of the bag recently by HRO. Finally put their sign up where it's going to be at. So the address, if you're looking for where it's going to be, it's at 521 East State Road 434 in Winter Springs is the address. The sign is up on the road, so some of us have known about where it's going to be at. We can talk about it now because it's not a secret anymore since they put the sign up. I don't know about an opening date yet, other than they still talking October-ish. So we look forward to hopefully in October, we'll finally have a local ham radio store again in the Orlando area. So I'm sure it's going to be exciting. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be up there Saturday mornings to see what's going on. It's going to be the local hangout on Saturday mornings, I bet. So Club Attire. We haven't talked about this for a while. We have a lot of new members, in Zoom, and probably watching them even on YouTube. If you're interested in getting any club attire or shirts, I think there's even jackets, hats, stuff on there. If you go to our website, www.oerc.org, at the very top, there is a toolbar. Go to Club Check when that bar comes down to go to get OERC apparel, and it takes you right to where you can order it right online and have it delivered. I think you might have actually already did that. Did you? Did you get order online? Yeah. Oh, yep. So and give them I don't know, a couple weeks. It usually took. Yeah. It might take them a couple weeks. It depends on if they're doing shows or not. They'll get it out to you. So just want to mention that. So anybody's interested in getting any type of shirts or anything with the OERC logo on it. Memorial service. JC sent out a thing this morning. One of our former members, and a lot of people knew in the area, Greg Black, AE4GB, passed away back on August the 16th. His memorial has been set for this coming Saturday at 1 o'clock, September the 4th at Banfield Funeral Home on State Road 434, Winter Springs. So I sent that email out to everybody in the club this morning once I got it from JC. So if you're interested in going, that's the location, the time. One quick announcement here. September VHF contest is coming up on September 11th through the 13th. And round 2 of the 10 gigahertz and up contest is September the 18th and 19th if you're interested in participating in any of those contests. Kind of going a little quick here because we're going to do things a little differently tonight. Michael, did you have some stuff for Hamcation you want to talk about? Give him a second, folks. He's trying to produce the online version and take care of stuff. So he'll be up here in just a second.
All right, everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, real quick. Everybody knows we did go to Huntsville Hamfest 2 weeks ago now. It was a good show. Turned out good. They had a little over 4,000 in attendance. And 2019, the last show that they did, they had about 5,100 which was actually a record year for them. So 4,000 is a really good turnout. Some of the vendors did back out last minute, but overall it was a good show. Hamcation did good. Pretty much Saturday we were nonstop the whole show talking to people at our booth. We sold lots of swaps, tailgates, RVs. We sold, I think, 6 commercial booths at the show, and we have 9 more that actually reserved booths that has until December 1st to pay. And I think out of those, 3 of those are actually new vendors for Hamcation that's never been here before. So that was good. Our next show that we will be at will be October at Melbourne. And then in November, we're going to Stone Mountain. December, the Tampa Bay at Plant City. So we'll be at all those. Also, if for the people that do want to buy a Hamcation ticket, we do have them available tonight. That will actually get you into the early bird drawing. Your volunteer ticket will not. Your volunteer ticket is good for prizes at the door or at the show, but it does not get you into the early bird drawing. So plus it gives you an extra ticket to actually go into prize drawing if you want to. But if you're not volunteering, we do have tickets here also you can buy. They're $15. Also, we are still looking for volunteers for Hamcation. The website's live. Please go up there and volunteer. In the back, on the one table here, there's descriptions of each area that you can volunteer for. So if you're wondering if you what each area does, there is sheets back there for each area. I believe that's all I have.
All right, we're kind of going through this a little quick at the beginning because what we want to do is go to our break real quick, and then when we come back from break, we'll go into Tim Duffy's presentation, and then after the break, after Tim Duffy's presentation, we'll wrap up some other announcements and things that we have that's going on and stuff. But we want to make sure we get Tim's presentation in there. Heard something. Sound like a radio.
Can I get a radio check, please?
Sure. Sounds good in here.
If I can ask everybody on Zoom to please mute your microphones. And ever whose radio that is, it is working. We hear you just fine.
And clear.
All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and do our, on the local side, at the fairgrounds, we'll do our quick break. I want to try to come back here by 8 o'clock. And by then we'll have Tim Duffy's presentation, okay? It's gonna be a good one. It's on grounding and bonding. So something that we all need here in Florida.
We may. Come on in. I'm Cobbler.
All right, folks, we're going to get ready to get started here in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, we'll get restarted. And looks like Tim just joined us on Zoom. So we'll be getting ready to get started. All right, everybody, we're going to get started again. Appreciate everybody having a seat so we can get the presentation going. I do want to say real quick, after Tim does his presentation, we'll go through a couple announcements, club updates, and see if any of the board members have anything, and we'll talk about next month's meeting and our door prizes. I'm not sure where the bag of golf balls came from. Is that just anybody wants some golf balls? Okay, there's some golf balls up here if anybody wants any. But we have some adapters, connectors, a diamond antenna for HT, and a Streamlight flashlight for our door prizes tonight. So let me please welcome Tim Duffy, K3LR, to our presentation tonight. Tim is the CEO of DX Engineering, licensed in 1972. He is active on the HF bands and well-known contester. He has been involved in most facets of amateur radio, from building and operating an extensive repeater network to emergency communications to contesting. Tim has operated most of the major contests as a single operator, and for the past 27 years has grown his Western Pennsylvania station and team of operators to become one of the top multi stations in the world. Tim is a member of the CQ Contest Hall of Fame, and was on Team USA for the World Radio Team Championships, which is WRTC, 5 times. Tim is the founder and chairman of Contest University. Tim also is the chairman and founding director of the Worldwide Radio Operators Foundation. Tim is the recipient of the 2015 Amateur of the Year Award presented by Dayton Hamvention. That is the same year that OERC won Club of the Year, and when we first met Tim. He's also is the 2016 YASME Excellence Award winner. He's also serves as chairman emeritus for the Radio Club of America. Tim joins us tonight to do a presentation on grounding and bonding, something that we probably need a lot of in Florida. Tim, are you with us?
I am.
Welcome.
Oh, hello, Michael.
I'm John.
Oh, John, I'm sorry.
We get confused. Everybody gets confused with that.
Yeah, you guys are
So-
brothers.
We are also live streaming to YouTube tonight. So on our club YouTube channel. So anybody that's not able to watch us tonight live can also come back later and still see the presentation. All right.
Great.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, John. Thanks so much for inviting me to speak to the club. And boy, I can't wait for February. And bring on Hamcation.
We're waiting and ready.
I got my tickets. I'm ready to go. It's warm up here in Western Pennsylvania now, but boy, in February, it feels so good to be in Orlando. And this club is a phenomenal club, just so much energy and lots of very good people here. Guys and gals that work very hard to put on the show and also to uphold amateur radio in the greater Orlando area. With that, I'm going to share my screen and let me know when you see my slides.
We see it.
All right, great. So we're going to talk about grounding and bonding, and these are some things that I have learned over the last 35, 40 years. I've been a ham for almost 50 years now. And grounding and bonding is really an area where I think every amateur radio station can improve. And so we're going to talk about what grounding is and what bonding is. I'm going to show you some ways to do it. And I'm going to give you some resources too. And because this session is being recorded, you can go back and take a look at these slides at your leisure. There have been several presentations on this topic at Contest University. And we will be bringing Contest University to Orlando in February of 2022 as part of the ARRL National Convention. And I invite you to attend. It's going to be a really, it's not going to be as big and comprehensive as the one we do in Dayton, but it's going to be really good. And this is one of the most asked for presentations. And this presentation tonight is kind of skinny down just a little bit. I invite you to go to contestuniversity.com, and up there you will find past presentations that are on YouTube of this subject and lots of other subjects for the last 5, 6, 7 years that are up there, and slide decks that are at least 10 years old are up there as well. So there's a lot of good videos and slide decks available at contestuniversity.com. And a lot of this material came from the ARRL handbook and the ARRL antenna book, as well as one of my favorite reads, The Grounding and Bonding for the Radio Amateur. that was published by Ward Silver. There's a brand new edition that will be out. I think it's actually on the way to DX Engineering now, of the grounding and bonding for the radio amateur. So in the second edition, Ward promises that this has got even more information in it. There are a lot of these resources that are online, so you don't even have to spend money. The Motorola R56 standards and guidelines is really, really good. K9YC has a lot of information on grounding and bonding as well. So you really need to kind of dive in full head first into what ground is, and your equipment and your safety always depends upon this. And we're going to show you how to get a good ground, and then how to bond, and that's really important. There really is no such thing as RF ground, and there are ground loops. Single point ground is, we're going to focus on that. And remember that the earth is not a magic sink into which you can pour RF or lightning and expect it to just disappear. So we're going to talk a lot tonight, and I'm going to show you some examples here at my station. This is not a green screen. This is two of the operating positions here at K3LR, and they are really bonded well. And so we're going to keep 2 or more points at the same voltage potential. It's not expensive. It's not hard. You just have to know how to do it. And when you do it properly, it really takes care of a lot of concerns that amateur radio operators should have. Maybe they don't know they should have it, but AC safety, lightning protection, and RF management. And so for bonding to work, it has to be low impedance, short lengths at the frequencies of interest, heavy, larger is better. To carry, lightning current is just huge. Has to be sturdy enough to survive outside. Inside the ham station, I like to use strap or heavy wire. Number 2 is my favorite. And then also tin copper braid can only be used inside. You can't use it outside. And never, ever use old coax braid. It's exposed copper, deteriorates very fast, and doesn't work well. We want to make sure the safety is first. AC safety grounding is controlled by the NEC code. And if you're not a professional electrician, I suggest you hire one. And even if you didn't build your home, I would hire a professional electrician to inspect your ground, inspect the neutral connections, tighten everything up in your breaker boxes. And grounding for AC safety has 3 different names, and probably even more: equipment ground, third wire ground, green wire ground. And there's 2 purposes to this. This stabilizes AC power voltage during faults, such as lightning. It also provides a path to a common point for fault currents. And so here is how the homes in the USA are wired up, with the utility transformer outside, either ground mounted or on a pole. There are 3 wires that come into your house: the neutral and 2 hots. There are 2 buses inside your main breaker box: the neutral bus and the ground bus. The ground bus is hooked to a ground rod that is right out as close as possible to the main breaker box. And notice there's the main bonding jumper that is only in the main box. Any sub panels must have that jumper removed. For the AC safety grounding that is going to the breaker box, you can use these clamps, although I really recommend the exothermic welding, the CAD weld, which is what is shown in the photo, which welds the number 2 solid to the top of the copper clad ground rod. And so here's the proper way to connect all your ground rods together. All the connections in earth are connected together. You can't steer lightning, but you can help it make good decisions. You want to keep it outside of your house. and heavy low impedance paths to the earth. You don't want to invite lightning to come in either via the AC power line or via your tower. So this is how you want to do it. You want to ground your tower, ground the feed line before it goes into the house, ground the AC service entrance, and all these things are an attempt to keep the ground paths around your station and outside of your house. And here's the proper way to ground towers. It is tedious. It takes a little bit of time, but it is worth the effort by using multiple ground rods and radials. You want to bond your feed lines to your tower. Again, taking away the difference in voltage potential. This is one view of a single point ground panel. Notice the RF ground plane underneath the radio. The RF ground planes are available at DX Engineering. The radio ground connects to the RF ground plane, and then the ground plane connects to the single point ground panel. Lightning protection, we sell a lot of these items at DX Engineering. They work very well from Polyphaser, from DX Engineering. And here is another single point ground panel. Notice that the polyphasers are connected to this aluminum sheet. The aluminum sheet is then connected to a ground rod. Here's some more lightning protection using these little blue items are gas discharge tubes going to the single point ground panel. And another single point ground panel with all the filters and switches, then connected to ground. And you must have everything common and bonded together. We're going to talk about bonding inside the shack. A good RF bonding bus is 1/2-inch copper pipe. I happen to use strap, 2-inch wide strap, but this is the idea. And the wire to the equipment enclosures, that's all 1-inch tin copper braid. Remember that everything in your station is an antenna, and you want to make sure that you have everything bonded together and then to the single point ground panel, which connects to your ground rods. Don't worry about RF ground. Concentrate on bonding. You want to eliminate hot spots. It reduces RFI, reduces sensitivity to how you have your equipment laid out, and it minimizes the audio buzz and hum. Keep cables short, use that bonding bus, minimize the loop area. Here's a photo of another type of ground plane with the radio sitting on top of the aluminum. The aluminum is then bonded to the copper pipe, which is the bonding bus, and then this goes to the single point ground plane. All currents flow on all wires. A single solid ground system made of short, heavy direct connections satisfies all the requirements for AC safety, lightning protection, RF management, and clean audio. Here again, look at the RF bonding bus that goes to each one of the pieces of equipment. That connects to the single point ground panel. And then the phone and cable and your AC power panel and all of the ground rods get all connected together. Here is the perimeter ground connecting in. We're showing you the AC service panel, AC safety ground, and getting everything properly bonded. There are great resources on the internet at the National Fire Protection Association, also Polyphaser, and standards documents that the FAA has. Even the ARRL has really good information on their website for electrical safety, grounding, and lightning protection. And also WHAI has got a lot of pages on ground systems. Remember this photo, having a ground plane underneath your radio is really best practices. And here are the ground planes at K3LR. They're made out of copper. These are available from DX Engineering, and the radios sit right on top of them. These are my single point ground panels. I have one of these for each one of the 11 stations, and the 2-inch strap is actually connected to the the ground system, which is right underneath the radios, very, very short. And this is number 2, tin copper solid wire that connects to the top of the ground rods. And here are the connections from the amplifier, from the transceiver, and from the antenna switch going to the single point ground panel. The connections here from the RF ground plane, which goes to the single point ground panel, and then the connection to the stud on the back of the radio, keeping the wires short, using shielded wires, and another connection. Now here's the radio in place. Here's 2 radios side by side with the ground planes and connections. And you can see the tin copper braid connected to the ground stud on the back of the ICOM radio. Back of the amplifier, here's the ground plane underneath the amplifier, and connections made. Also another connection to another amplifier connection. Amplifiers connected to ground. So that is my presentation, and I am available for any questions you might have.
Anybody on Zoom that needs or has a question, don't forget to unmute. Anybody here in the audience? We'll bring a microphone to you. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Ear check. Ear check. Tim, we got to remove the camera. I can move the camera for you. It's on.
It's on?
Yep.
My question is, I noticed the ground straps and those look great, but I noticed that the ground straps were soldered to the little lugs. Is there any concern about the lugs limiting the amount of current that could pass? They look small. So I was just, I've seen it where someone has tinned the end of the flat braid and put a hole in there. And so, and put a screw through that. But yours had lugs on the end. And so anyway, just a question about if the lugs could be a limiting factor in there. Thank you.
Yep. I don't really believe so. The lugs are crimped and soldered, silver soldered. We make these tin copper braids in various lengths from 6 inches all the way up to many feet long. And they are silver soldered. I do not believe those lugs, there's 1/4 inch hardware there, and then number 10 hardware on the radios. I really do not believe there is any concern about those lugs.
Okay, I see your point. If there's number 10 hardware on the radio, I see that now. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Oh, got another question?
Our question is for new houses which are going up with a aluminum roof, with standing seams. How would you tie a roof like that into your grounding system?
What I would do, first off, you have to make sure that the various sheets of aluminum are bonded together. I mean, really, really bonded. So I think that can be done. And then I would run a heavy 2-inch strap from one of the corners of that metal roof down to the ground rods that are all tied into everything else.
Okay. Lou?
Yeah, I was noticing, I've just redid my grounding with my system, and I'm a satellite operator. So instead of having 1 or 2 coax feed throughs, there's 13 on my system. And I noticed none of the grounding systems that DX Engineering sells includes more than like 2 coax feeding through. It's like, don't forget about us satellite operators. And I'd like to know if you had any comments on what we should be doing, because we're working everything above 2 meters.
Yeah, I guess it might, you might have to do a custom panel. I could envision one of our copper plates double females to feed through into the house, and so that the antennas all could be on a common bonding plate that is connected to ground before they go into the house. But most stations do not have that many antenna systems coming in.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm constructing a lot of houses and being asked for putting lightning protection on the roofs in the form of spikes with heavy duty cabling down to ground. How would you incorporate a house that has lightning arresters, lightning protection in with amateur radio equipment, please?
Yeah, so those are also called air terminals. That is the formal name for them, with the spikes. And I've seen some of those installations done with stranded wire, which I think is not correct. Solid wire would be much more appropriate, because what happens with stranded wire is that each one of the strands gets copper oxide on them, and that becomes a problem because it no longer operates at its outside diameter. So what should happen is all those air terminals should come down to the same ground system that is connected to the amateur radio station, that is connected to the AC power ground. But I would also consult with the local electrical code and get an electrician involved to make sure that everything is done according to code.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else on Zoom or anybody that even on YouTube that may be watching right now, if you have a question, you can type it into the chat box and we can read it out from here.
All right.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of good theory and code that we're all following to set these ground systems up, but is there any practical way to test and verify that your system is properly grounded?
Steve, that's a great question. And the answer is there's limited testing. The real test is when you get a storm. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm an
that's
engineer.
unexpected.
I'm an engineer at heart. Yeah, I get it. But there's really no good test other than, going through a storm. So my advice to you is that you take some of the concepts that we talked about tonight, that when Ward's new book comes out, this is the first edition.
Yeah, I
book.
just bought that one.
When the Ward's book is really, really good on this subject, Steve. So if you do what's in this book, you can never rest easy. You get a direct hit, all bets are off. But what you want to do is survive the majority of the minor hits. The best advice I give people is, I disconnect everything. After March goes, it's lightning season. It's really bad in Florida. Disconnect things. Yeah, I think you sleep much better when things are disconnected. I know it's a hassle, but it's much better than having to clean up the mess afterwards.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, John, Harry, I got a question for Tim.
Go ahead, Harry.
Hi, Tim. Question for you regarding HOAs and restrictions for antennas. I live in an HOA and my antenna is up in the attic, and I keep all the equipment unplugged from the AC when I'm not using it. Any suggestions or any information regarding that environment you could talk about?
Yeah. Hi, Harry. I guess it's not as much of a concern when you have attic antennas from a lightning perspective, but in addition to disconnecting the AC, I would disconnect the antenna too, just to be sure.
Okay, I've got a three-way switch because I use the antenna for multiple radios. Putting it in, I'll call it neutral, would that suffice?
Yeah, I think that's going to be good enough.
Okay. Yeah, as far as the lightning goes, someone told me one time, if you've got to worry about your antenna getting hit by lightning in the attic, you got bigger problems if it does.
Yeah, but just put it on that neutral position, and
okay,
I think you'll be okay.
Thank you for that recommendation.
Another question? they sell these MFJ antenna switches, which do have a center position which is grounded. How do you rate those? I've got those in my shack and I always ground them out every time I leave the shack. How do you rate those?
You know, I think in 90% of the situations, that's going to be okay. But if I lived in Florida, I would hard disconnect the antennas still.
Thank you.
It would even save you time from having to deal with your insurance company.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's
We have a
worse than
question here
going
in
to the
the
dentist.
room too.
The gentleman before, I think, asked the question I was going to ask about the ground. Everything is dependent on everything gets terminated with the ground, but then we can't really define the ground. But I know how that is because here in Florida, we don't know what we have for our ground. And we're trying all kinds of things, and going deep may be one of the things to do. I don't know if you have any suggestions on how deep to go, if you have how much good it does for you. And one other question, when the tower is up, the antennas are up, is it be a good practice to extend the mast up above the antennas, the highest antenna, and then put a stinger on the end of it?
Yeah, we actually sell a ground kit, a ground rod kit to do exactly that, so that you give lightning a place to hit instead of your antennas. And, you know, make sure you have the tower on ground. And again, that's an attempt to help lightning make a good decision and stay away from the antennas. And in those areas where the ground is iffy, you know, an 8-foot ground rod, but then radials with bare copper wire that go out on top of the ground, or just, you know, so they get underneath the sod, can be a real lifesaver where you have that iffy ground.
Any questions on YouTube?
Yeah, Tim, Michael here. I got a couple questions on YouTube. The first one's going to be from Jim Diggs. He asked, how does the ground plane under the radio function?
So what that does is there is capacitance to that massive ground plane that is underneath there. And the whole theory behind it is explained in Ward's book. The first time I saw ground planes being used underneath radios, I was in Brazil, and we had very poor grounds. And those ground planes made a world of difference. Again, trying to stabilize the voltage differentials. And so even though I've got what I think is a very good ground, I've got 13 ground rods in the floor here, even those ground planes stabilized all of the things in the shack, and things operate much better with those ground planes sitting underneath the radios and under the amplifiers. And you can go to the DX Engineering website. We've got more information on that, but they work very, very well.
All right, Tim, and the next question was from George Markward. Any suggestions on how to ground/bond a station when you live in a townhouse with no access to earth ground?
Well, the bonding becomes even more important. So, you know, sometimes you just can't get to ground. That's the way it is. But I hope to God that there is a connection to a ground rod at the main breaker panel. You've got to have that for the AC power to work properly. But when you don't have access to outside ground, the best thing you can do is to use antennas that are balanced and that don't, you know, these end-fed things send a lot of RF down the feed line, and that can be very problematic. So it is very important to bond everything properly, even if you can't get to an outside ground rod.
We're going to go to a question in the room, and then we'll go back to, I see Jim Shaw and Steve have hands up. So we'll go to them in just a second. Bob?
Good evening, Ted. Name's Bob Cumming. And I have two 40-foot towers on my property. And I have 40-foot ground rods on both of them. And one of the things you talk about, single point ground, don't listen to your power company all the time. I had a technician come out from the power company and told me my ground was better than their ground. And they wanted to disconnect the ground that I had between my towers and my house ground. And I said, "Do you have a boss?" And he says, "Yeah, is he a licensed electrician?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Get him on the phone." And I said, "Tell your guy, explain to him what the electrical code says about common point grounding." So I've got all my towers grounded together, bonded together. And actually, we talk about radios. My towers are about 50 feet apart, and I've got copper wire in the ground between those two ground rods and the ground, well, the star ground around the towers, and into my house ground, and also to one mast I've got. And that's almost like radios that you're talking about.
Yes. And is it working good for you, Bob?
It works excellent. I've had hits on both of my towers and nothing's come into the house. I had a pine tree hitting, 65-foot pine tree got hit in front of the house, and it came into the house through the sprinkler system. So it found a way into the electric, blew the control box for the sprinkler system off the side of the house.
But your ham radio equipment was safe, right?
No, and I'm a VHF and UHF person. I've got antennas from 160 meters all the way up to 10 gigahertz, all up in the air, and nothing's ever happened. I disconnect every one of those feed lines, plus all the preamp lines, plus all my rotator cables, get all disconnected at the house.
Good for you. Keep it up, Bob. You're doing good.
All right, Jim Shaw, do you have a question?
Yeah, Tim, Jim Shaw, AL7BA. This kind of piggybacks on the not being able to reach an earth ground. But if you're on the second story of a house, you know, you could possibly reach it, but, you know, you're going to have something long enough to radiate on, you know, 15 or 20 meters. How do you go about it? Is there a way inside the house that you can bond, say, to the green ground that's in the outlet? I mean, I've got everything bonded to a 1/2-inch piece of, you know, copper water pipe. And so everything's at the same potential that way, but, you know, trying to get that to the house ground, at least where it'll get down to the panel and then outside to the ground rod.
Yeah. So the best thing to do there, Jim, and I know it is a challenge when you're on the second floor, is to get, you know, again, your bonding bus, get that connected to an outside ground rod using 2-inch strap. And we sell that at DX Engineering. Get that 2-inch strap down to a ground rod, and then get that ground rod connected into the electrical ground rod. And you're going to be good. Don't rely on the green wire going back to the breaker box. You have to provide a lower impedance conductor from your ground rod that goes up to the second floor. Get a ground wire that goes around and grabs onto that electrical ground as well. And you're going to have to call it good.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Steve, do you have a question?
His was up from earlier.
You said yeah.
Nah, I'm good. That was from earlier. Thank you.
Oh, okay, excellent. Any questions in the room here? Any other questions on Zoom? Any
I
other
don't
questions?
have nothing on YouTube's. No more questions either.
Awesome.
I have one, John.
Up. Yes, good.
Jim Robar. I noticed that there were some buses, I believe they were inside the shack, and then the copper strap was bolted to that. The question I had, is that bolted dry, or are they using some kind of a compound in between to maximize connectivity?
Well, that is a great question, and you're very observant. Not dry. JetLube SS30. This is the magic DX grease. There it is. It's all gold, and this is the antioxidant that goes on every connection here at K3LR. JetLube SS30. available at your favorite DX Engineering outlet.
Okay. And there was one other thing I wanted to ask you about. You had mentioned silver brazing. There's also silver solder. According to the the AWS, the American Welding Society, I believe the cutoff point is 840 degrees for brazing. Anything below that is soldering. So I wanted you to clear that up if you would tell me if it was a solder or a braze.
Actually, the stuff that I'm doing here in the shack is a solder. We do a lot of brazing outside, but the stuff that was done on that number 2 that you saw, that was silver solder with big soldering irons.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? In the room, Zoom or YouTube?
YouTube's good.
All right, Tim. Thank you very much.
Well, John and Michael, thank you so much for your leadership and a great club and inviting me here tonight. And to those of you who are DX Engineering customers, thank you so much for your business. To those of you who are not, give us a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well we're going to service you. We have an experienced sales staff with over 400 years of experience. And you get your order in by 10 o'clock Eastern time, it's going to ship the same night. And if we've got it in stock, it's going to go quick. And we are working very hard to keep our inventory position so that we have everything that you need to have fun with the greatest hobby in the world. So thanks again, John and Michael.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully that's sometime these tax laws will get straightened out. We will see DX Engineering at Hamcation in the future.
Yeah, that's going to happen. They're all straightened out now.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, Florida residents are have to pay sales tax now and for online purchases, just like every other state. But all that stuff is straight. We were planning on being there this year, but 2022, get this virus out of there and we will be there.
Sounds good. We're looking forward to it. Thank you again, Tim. Appreciate your presentation. It was a great presentation.
All right, thanks, guys. Have fun with the hobby. We'll see you soon.
All right.
February, come quick.
Yes, hurry up. We're excited. All right. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, we're going to go around to the clubs and do the club updates real quick. So if you have an update, I'm going to ask you to come up here. So that way you can be on camera. Michael doesn't have to keep moving the camera all around. So with that, we have a new QCWA president. He's going to give his first club update. It won't be the last. They didn't tell you it was a lifetime term, right?
Oh, Lord. Said I'm going to be this job as long as Al. Wow. Anyway, well, I'll keep it short because I know everybody wants to get going. QCWA indeed does have a new president. That would be me. The competition was tough with zero competition, and I barely got elected. But I'm greatly thankful and happy to be in the job now, and looking forward to lead QCWA into the next however many years. Al, God rest your soul. Anyway, we have changed our meeting time. Still, we're on Zoom, but ever since Al was around, QCWA has met in a luncheon format on Thursday at 12:30, I think, or 1, I'm sorry. So that's changed. We're going to try, it's still going to be Thursday, but we're going to do it at 7:30 p.m. This is just a trial. We'll see if everybody likes it. So I should have Zoom invitations out probably tomorrow, and we'll see you next Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. We can discuss other stuff online, but that's about it, except that we do have a QCWA net on Tuesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. So please check in and see us there. That's all I got.
All right, appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
All right, is Rich Fisher, are you still online?
I am here, John. I'm glad to be here tonight, and that was a fascinating presentation.
Awesome, appreciate it. At this point, what we always do with our club updates is we let a representative of a club, as like Lamar's, give a little update on the club, maybe a little talk about what their next meeting is going to be about. I know you haven't been at one of our meetings for a while, so give you a little idea. And then since you are the Lamar's president, we thought it'd be perfect for you to give the club update for tomorrow night for your meeting.
All right, thank you, John, so much. All right, we're going to have announcements when we come out in the beginning, and you might know that one of our members, Ann Singleton, KJ4 BBC, has a program going which she calls Radio Boot Camp. And her idea was to put this together to help all the newly licensed radio amateurs. And she does this on a Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, the third Saturday. So if you're interested in having inviting a newcomer along, and of course everybody here is welcome, go to Lamar's website to get the information on that. And you can request from our secretary to have a invitation link to get into that. So she's very happy about that. And we all know that Ben Miller had been her partner in putting that presentation together. And that was a huge loss for us, as was Glenn Black, Greg Black. I'm so sorry about that. And, you know, we hate to see Silent Keys becoming a part of life around here, but it sure has impacted us. But nonetheless, Ann keeps it going. So tomorrow night at our meeting, we're going to be talking about QSLing. We have a number of new members, and hopefully this is going to be some valuable information for them as they begin working with their new hobby and everything they're going to be pulling off. So we're also expecting to have, we're going to feature another fox hunt coming up on the 18th. Dennis Veselka, AI4KNC is going to be the fox this time around. We're going to hunt him down. If you'd like to come out with something, join us with that. That would be a lot of fun. Actually, our very own yours and Arab member, Jim Robar, was very instrumental in helping our club members put together some Yagi antennas made out of tape measures. And a lot of our members are using those, and we have a pretty good old time doing it. So we have been standing down on some of our operations. Unfortunately, I wanted to go out for the Kansas QSO party. I didn't take the club out to do that, but we're all very hopefully wishing that this pandemic's going to ease so we can all get back into the swing of things. Anyway, you got a terrific club. We're certainly glad to always help OARC. You've been very generous to us too. And I'd like to thank you and all the members for the generosity expressed over to Lamar's. So glad to be here tonight, John. And thanks for the invitation for that very good presentation.
Not a problem. Appreciate you being here. And then there was a question that somebody typed in the website. Is that the website for Lamar's that you're asking for, Barbara?
Yeah, that. If that was for me, John, yes, it's lmars.org. lmars.org.
Got it. And when Michael just typed it in the chat room, so everybody has it also. All right, appreciate it, Rich. CertHam Radio Group. Mike Bivens, are you online tonight?
No, he was there earlier.
Huh?
He was in there earlier.
Okay. I don't see him there now. Okay. We'll go to Clarkona Cert. I saw there, Bill and Christy. There they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I gotta find you in the Hollywood Squares.
We just got back from the CERT conference and it was a huge success. All the donations from Hamcation was greatly appreciated. And looking forward now to getting back into my Hamcation full force.
Yeah, it seems like what we always seem to do around here is go from one event to the next.
Yes. Yes.
Calendar hopping.
Yep.
Bobbin, CFRA.
All right, I'll just stand on this side of the table. I'm
Yeah,
Bob
you're-
Nocero, W4KBW, President of the Central Florida Repeater Association. I see some of my members here. We're a small group, around 20 to 25 members. We meet at the last Wednesday of each month at the Perkins at the corner of Forsyth and University in Winter Park. We started running about 6 o'clock. John and Michael, you should get there about 4 to make sure the tables are ready. About 7 o'clock, we'll have a very short meeting and then we have more rag chew. Repeater is downtown Orlando, about 250 some odd feet up at 443.075. It's fusion and analog. If you're interested in becoming a member, it's $12 per year. If you're husband and wife, it's $18 for both.
That's a little high.
All right. Radio scouting, Ken, are you online? I see. I know that Ken sent me a message in reference to a couple things to mention. The biggest thing I want to mention for him, coming up in October is the Jamboree on the Air. And I think they're going to have somewhere around 15,000 scouts, or has it gone up that? 12,000? Around 12,000 scouts going through at Camp Lenoche. And they are looking for a lot of help. So if you have some time available in October, Ken's going to do a presentation next month on Jamboree on the Air, and I'm sure he's going to be requesting help. So if you have some time to give up on the weekends in October, Ken is going to need your help and the guys from the radio scouting group. So with 12,000 scouts going through the camp, that's the entire month of October, if I'm not mistaken, or at least several weekends, not just one weekend. 5 weekends, all weekends. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna need as much help as they can get. So if you have some time to help show radios, explain how amateur radio works and allow the kids time to play on the radio would be great. So, and then Ken will be here next month to do a presentation on it. Rod, are you online with Bahia?
Did not see him.
Did not see him? Okay. I know Rod mentioned to us that the Bahia Ham Radio Group is going to have a tailgate coming up in November at their facility on 436 in Apopka. So we'll get more information on that out to everybody on the weekend that is. I think it's around the 12th or 14th or something, if I'm not mistaken. Weak signal. Anything about from Weak Signal? Let me get a microphone over there. Oops, actually come over this way. Get away from the speaker. Come over this way a little bit more. You can get in front of the camera.
Okay.
There you go.
Right here.
You're good. I'll turn you down.
Got to put an X on the floor. As usual, I have to complain about microwaves, trying to get some people interested. The FCC is already talking about embracing G6, and G5 just about lost the 3 gig band for us. And we've got a little bit of it left, and they moved us. But this is things to come. I figure if we don't show an interest, that is the argument that the commercial guys use to get the frequencies, because we're not interested. So if we're not going to occupy these frequencies, they're going to go away. They're going to stop. I'm going to make a prediction here. Don't hold me to it. I'll be a politician. G10, we may not have any microwave frequencies left at all if we don't start occupying them. Because for the higher speed, they have to have more spectrum. And guess who's got the spectrum that they can get by just paying for it? And the beacons are all up, except for 2 gigs, and you get some equipment on. Hope that can be some help to you.
Excellent, thank you. All right, I know Lou, you're not with AMSAT or on the board anymore. No updates, nothing big. Okay. That's right, you're with Aris now, aren't you? More with Aris? Okay. I have to put that one on there so we can give us updates on Aris and for next month. Deers, nobody from Deers. Lake Amateur Radio. I don't know if anybody's on from Zoom. Lake Amateur Radio. Seminole Aries. Anybody from Seminole Aries? Osceola Aries. Finally, I'll just sit there and say Orange County Aries meets September the 13th. And we'll be back at the EOC for September the 13th. And we are going to have a presentation on net traffic. I had something what it was, net traffic. So we'll have that come up on September 13th, Orange County EOC, 7 o'clock. send me an email if you're interested in coming. We'll give you the information on how to get there and how to get into the building. All right, going around to the board real quick. Michael, anything else?
I'm good.
All right, Anna? Anna says she has tickets for the Christmas party, and I got, I think, a couple emails already in reference to sending the link to get their ticket. So we'll get that to those individuals. Bobbin. Bobbin says Anna has Christmas ticket. Bob C, anything? Ed? James? Frank G, are you on?
I did not see him there.
Okay. Frank T?
I did not see him either.
Okay. And then Dean is deployed. We know where Dean's at. Dean's not able to be with us tonight. So he's deployed at the moment in Oregon. All right. Membership. As a reminder for everybody, between Zoom, YouTube, and in the room here, if anything changes for you, please let us know as soon as possible. Send an email to membership@oerc.org. Like if your email changes, your address changes, your phone number changes, maybe you decide to go out and get a vanity call sign, let us know so that way we can keep our records up to date and we know how to get a hold of you guys. So before we do the drawings, I shouldn't say grand prize, the door prize drawings, I just want to remind you that Wednesday, October the 6th is our next meeting at 7:30 here in this room or this building, Central Florida Fairgrounds. And again, our guest speaker is Ken Lyons, Kilo November 4, Mike Delta Juliet. He's going to be doing Jamboree on the Air presentation. And again, he's going to need help. So with 12,000 plus scouts going through to learn about amateur radio, they need all the help they can get. Even if you can only volunteer for a couple of hours one day, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to take your assistance. So, all right, we'll go for the drawings inside the building here.
Did everybody get a ticket? Nope. You got the tickets?
We'll get a ticket there for them. All right, we got three things. The little kit that we put it together, you have a choice when you win. Unfortunately, the third person that wins has one choice. But this kit has adapters and connectors. Pretty much what you would need to put up an antenna, or maybe if you just keep it as a go kit, right here, JC.
JC needed one.
It's a good little thing to have. Also, we got a diamond antenna for HTs as a SRH 770S. Nice little diamond antenna for HTs and a Streamlight flashlight.
Yes, it's dual band.
Yes, dual band, sorry. So, oh, and then don't forget, George brought us some golf balls. Anybody wants any golf balls? Please feel free.
All right. We'll draw the first lucky winner. Last four. 1, 1, 8, 2. James. I know what he's going for. I told you. I can tell you right now, between me and Helmet Field Day, we probably lose more than what's in that bag.
So it kind of replaces what gets lost. All right, next one.
Next one. One, 1, 9, 6.
Oh, Rick in the back. I was like, okay, somebody has to have it. Your choices.
Yeah, the grand prize.
What, the golf balls?
You didn't want that? Oh, there was
Oh.
2 of them in there? No, I've got. Oh, you already got one. Yes, we'll draw for it. Okay. All right. Last choice is a little magnetic tool or the antenna. 1, 1, 8, 3.
This one?
All right.
Thank you. All right, the little magnetic pickup tool. James said he already had one, so he didn't need another one. Oh, yeah, two?
See, what people don't understand, there could be $100 bill in there. You never know. I'm just joking.
Everybody's going to rip it apart.
All right. And last. 1184.
Never know when you need to pick up something. There you go. All right, guys, appreciate it very much. That's it.
Just remember also for the Christmas party, Anna does have the tickets. Also, we give away some great prizes. I think last year we gave away an HF radio. Sometimes there are HTs, D74 there. So you never know. It could be a nice HF radio. It could be a nice handheld, a mobile.
We haven't picked it out yet. So.
Yeah. So maybe a 705, 7300. Who knows?
There's usually lots of door prizes. There's lots of prizes for your spouses if they come with you. There's also, Anna does up a bunch of centerpieces that we end up kind of like giving away those also. So there's a lot of almost everybody goes home with something. Depends on how many people we had. Last year, even during the pandemic, we had about 50, 55 people there. Typically we have over 100. So, you know, half of the people there last year was great. Looking for hopefully maybe a full house this year. Depends on what's going on in December, but you know, we want to wish everybody to come out for a great evening. And it's also a good time to see everybody, have a good time, and we give out awards. Club gives out the awards that night also. So lots of stuff going on that night. Busy night for us. For everybody on Zoom and YouTube, we thank you very much. And for everybody here, please drive home safely.
Also, if you could, please grab a chair and stack them over here. You'll see they're all in the same direction. Please, so we can break everything down.
Thank you.
Good meeting there, John, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it very much.